Hey guys, it is Thursday. We just wrapped up the Lovin Dubai show. We'd love you to take a listen. We talked about dynamic toll pricing. Are they happening at Salik? And what is your solution for traffic in Dubai? We spoke about the SkyPods project and what Huda Beauty has said amid this global crisis.
And if you have missed the episode, don't forget to subscribe to the Lovin Dubai show podcast wherever you get your podcast from, and enjoy.
Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. Our top story for you today is dynamic toll pricing coming to Salik. Well, they have denied the rumours.
As well, Dubai approves SkyPod project.
We're talking about the most relatable tweet we saw online yesterday.
And as well, Huda Beauty delays Hotline launch amid global crisis.
Also, we're super excited to welcome Sasha Afsh on the show. She's talking all about navigating third culture relationships and life lessons.
It is 362 days since the genocide continued on October 7 in Gaza. The current death toll stands at 41,689. The number of injured people is 96,625, and 1.9 million people have been displaced from their homes.
In today's rapid weather report, temperatures will peak at 37 degrees Celsius. Humidity is at 78%. Let's go. If you're in a relationship.
I want to tell you. So I was on TikTok and I had seen this post of a man who proposed to his girlfriend.
Cute.
Of 10 years.
Oh.
10 years. And she said no. And he was like, he's so heartbroken. He doesn't know what to do. He feels like his life is over. And I feel like I get both point of views.
Right, so 10 years.
10 years.
You get proposed to. Do you say yes?
Look, if he had if he was not stable financially, I would wait.
Okay.
For sure. If we had the conversation like, hey Farah, I'm sorry, I cannot provide for you, and I cannot have a house open. I can't open a house. I can't be the husband that you want. I can't provide. So I will want you to wait. I will wait willingly for so long. But if he actually works and he actually has the financial capability to actually provide for me, and did not
and he dragged his feet.
Literally.
Yeah, I think it's very normal actually for people to wait quite some time to get married. Especially in Ireland, people could be in a relationship for 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, and then they get married. Whether or not there's external factors, it's quite normal for that length of time. However, if he's dragging his feet, and clearly in this situation he was, then it's okay. I was in a relationship for 10 years.
Ooh.
He didn't propose, I'll tell you that. He didn't propose after 10 years,
okay.
But 10 years on and off. We started going out when we were 16. And then, maybe less than 10 years. Anyway, I got a commitment that he was going to move country after 9, 10 years to be in the same country as me. And at that point, I realized that commitment wasn't significant enough, because it was like, well, you've dragged your feet in that other country for 2, 3 years with all of these different reasons. So when he committed to moving country after a long period of time, I was like, well, actually, I just realized that it's not worth it. So I ended it.
Yeah, because as Masa was saying before the show, it's like the girl will feel as if he is settling. You know what I mean? I understand his point of view. However, I agree with you. I'm sorry, but a man knows within a year or 2 max. Actually, a man.
As do we.
Yes.
But yet, and we're going to speak about relationships, tricky relationships later in the show, but we stay in relationships that we know aren't the right thing.
That's true.
We all do.
That's true.
So no one is perfect. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. If you know,
just do it.
Look,
I have this theory in my head that, if 2 people know, or the longer a relationship stays stagnant, it can kind of get ruined.
Yeah, but true. But then if you know, and you do it quickly, and then it doesn't work out, you have to really know. You have to really know, because we know people who've done it quickly and it hasn't worked out.
That's true. And we know as well people
really
who have done it quickly and it has worked out as well. You know, we both. It's like a double-ended sword.
Double-ended sword.
Really, but you guys just like, you know, like staying that long for like 10 years, and as you said, like dragging his feet for like 10 years.
Drag
like,
your feet, men and women watching the show. Speaking of not dragging feet, Salik were quick to respond to these dynamic toll pricing rumors. So did you see this post? It went viral yesterday. This is part of it right here. It basically had rumors that Salik would soon offer dynamic pricing at tolls. Well, friends, good news, it's not true. According to Salik, which is a publicly listed company, they quickly denied all rumors.
Well, as well, the dynamic pricing is a strategy where the price, or in this case, the toll would change in real time based on how busy the roads are. It allows businesses to optimize revenue by adjusting prices according to market trends. And a viral social media post yesterday suggested that Salik was about to change the fees from the usual 4 to 0 dirhams from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. and 8 dirhams from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So you can see what it was saying here. And it looked like a post from a local news platform. It didn't look like it was from us, but it looked like something that you would see. It was very real. It said local news at the bottom. So there you go. And the prices were listed that it would cost you nothing, as Farah said, like in the early hours of the day, but it would go up to 8 dirham, which would be a pricely fee if you're using that daily. However, these details are not true. The company even issued a statement saying, we strongly advise customers and shareholders to refer exclusively to official sources, which are the DFM and Salik website, salik.ae, if you need more information for any official announcements and updates. And that's according to the company's CEO.
Well, of course, you know, like I understand that people in Dubai are very frustrated with the traffic. And as well, where like they go like, oh my God, you know, we are paying Salik, and to avoid all of the to get faster to our destination, we are paying that much. But like, it's not cool to like just like have like rumors out like that.
Right, but you know what? I wonder where it came from. It was going viral on Reddit, but interestingly, we have discussed the possibility of this type of infrastructure coming in, because what are the solutions to traffic? And we sit here regularly and we complain all the time about how long it's taking us to get from A to B. However, what are solutions? Are you watching that? Like, what would you do if you had the lengths and depths of the UAE economy behind you to fix it? Like, what do you think would be the cure?
I think the cure would be maybe not having rent prices that high.
Rent prices?
Yeah, because then people will be able to live closer to where they work. You know what I mean? Because like it's a lot of traffic. Like what is the main reason of traffic is that rent prices in Dubai are higher than the ones in Sharjah. And so people tend to move to Sharjah because they want to actually, you know, they want to accommodate, and it's life, it's what they can do best. And when they are leaving Sharjah, oh my God, the traffic that they get stuck in. And it's like, fine, like if we are going to be moving all the way to Dubai, it's going to be more expensive.
But what if I'm a landlord and I've just bought an apartment in downtown for my retirement and the mortgage is here? Do you think I'm going to say, okay, I want to help reduce traffic, so I'm going to make them pay?
No, I think it should all like as a collective, you know,
as a collective,
maybe make it lower in prices. And not only that as well, I feel like one of the reasons of traffic is the fact that there is Salik and people try to avoid Salik, so they go through Al Khail Road or Mohammed bin Zayed Road, and then we see like there is like it's like packed with like cars, and it's like horrific, and when you look at it you're like, oh my God, where am I? Am I in war, or am I doing something? You know what I mean? It's actually
well, Al Khail Road is now getting a Salik, but that it will improve traffic, because maybe people will take alternative routes. Yeah. You know what? We're going to talk very shortly about SkyPods, because this story leads us nicely into the next one, which is an amazing traffic solution from the UAE, which is smarter than we could ever think of, the SkyPods. But what if there was a cycle lane? So a suspended cycle lane across the city. So you've got a cycle lane alongside Sheikh Zayed, and you've got a cycle lane up high, raised between all of the places. It wouldn't be very aesthetic. It would look a bit weird. But like, how great.
I mean, it's not about what it's gonna look like, but because people, either way, they're gonna follow whatever road that has no traffic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trust me, like I'm just like thinking about, and because like I used to like live somewhere really far away, and I remember my dad, because like I would make him drop me and pick me up all the time. He would be like, he'd be driving as if like, you know, like he's like fighting for his life, and I would look at him. I would have anxiety with him, because I would look at all of the cars in front of me, and I'd be like, all of these are here, all of these are going where I'm gonna be going, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, speaking of solutions,
you can just fly.
So we'll have less road rage on the road.
Yes, of course, because Dubai approved SkyPod project. Dubai's Executive Council has approved a 65-kilometer suspended transport system, which means that you guys, you know what, if you're stuck in traffic, you can use that, and it will connect 3 key locations of Suqaim Street, Al Khor, and Zabil. Now, this project involves self-running vehicles that travel on elevated support beams, and as well, that will be integrated into regular transport systems of the city to allow the most efficient and more sustainable transportation for all citizens.
So we've spoken about air transport and what that will mean for the city, but this is the first time we've seen the integrated network, which is so cool. And according to Dubai's Executive Council, this system is part of a wider project that aims to ensure Dubai's leading position in technology and urban development. And it is an essential part of Dubai's smart mobility strategy.
Now, this new system will increase the percentage of public transport journeys in Dubai to 26% by 2030. You know what, Casey? Actually, I would definitely use that. Just like, I hope like it has specific look, like it can drop me to Dubai Mall.
Well, it didn't mention Dubai Mall there,
but I'm hoping
eventually. So they've just given us 3 locations, and eventually, maybe if it works. But I think what's amazing is the city's emphasis on automated transport. Getting traffic off the roads. Like, we were one of the first cities looking at these air taxis, which are like mini helicopters. I don't really know the difference, but they're going to be sustainable and they won't be manned by a person, which is unbelievable. And this one, they kind of look like, we were discussing, they kind of look like cable cars in the sky. And I think you'd wonder how fast they'll be. Do you think it's going to be metro fast, or do you think it's going to be Dubai Marina? What's that called? What's the one in Marina called?
Ferry?
Yeah, what's the Marina?
Boat.
I used to live there for 4 years and I can't remember. The metro in Dubai Marina. It's the tram.
The tram.
The tram. Or is it going to be monorail level of speed?
I think it's going to be teleferique
metro
speed. You know, like when you're like out, like let's say like as you were in southern France, right? And you're trying
to... Cable car. Oh, I hope it's faster than a cable car.
You know, like you want to go and ski, and you're there with like your ski gadgets and everything. I think it's going to be that.
I hope it's going to be faster than that. I have no doubt. This is the RTA. They're going to pull it out of the bag with some quick transport solutions. Jumping into our next story.
Well, we know a lot of things have been happening around the world, and Hassan Sajwani posted the most relatable tweet. As said, there's a lot happening in the world right now, and even if we are not expressing or experiencing everything firsthand, it's hard not to feel for those who are. Recently, amid everything that's happening, an Emirati entrepreneur, Hassan Sajwani, shared a tweet that really struck a chord with many of us. He said, "I'm so done with Earth, anyone flying to Mars."
And it's that kind of relatable sentiment that sparked a wave of responses, with many agreeing and sharing their own frustrations. We can clearly see that Hassan must feel a lot for the victims, and so decided to insert a joke and perhaps lighten the atmosphere a little bit.
The thing is, it's very hard to really empathize with people, with everything that's happening around right now. So maybe like with Hassan Sajwani's tweet, he was kind of like maybe lighten up the mood for his followers, because when you open Instagram or Twitter or anything really, all that you can see is what news about what's happening around the world right now, and it's really frustrating and it's been devastating because you want to help but you don't know how to help. And he just like maybe tried to like light up the mood. And honestly, I would go to Mars. Where'd you go?
I don't know, but you're so right. It's impossible to even put yourselves in the shoes of if you're in Lebanon, if you're in Gaza, if you're in Syria, and then it's even impossible to comprehend people who have their families there, what they're going through.
That's true.
And it's like you can help, you can donate, but what more can you do? And it just feels so helpless. So Hassan Sajwani wants to go to Mars, and I feel like there's going to be a couple of people jumping on the spaceship with him. However, speaking of what you can do, there's leaders in using their voice for the unheard, and we know that Huda Beauty is one of them. And this is the definition of reading the room in a time of crisis. So she is our favorite beauty entrepreneur. Huda Beauty has pulled back the launch of Huda Hotline, which is a new channel where you are going to be able to share your questions with her. So think of her as like a big sister. You can send in your queries and she's going to answer them.
And as well, a press release was sent out last week, but Huda released a new message last night saying, over the past couple of days, we have seen so many atrocities around the world. My heart goes out to everyone who is experiencing pain and suffering during these times.
So she continued in the statement saying, continuing with our original launch date, which was meant to be yesterday, whatever October 2nd is, for Huda Hotline feels unimportant in times like this, which is why, despite the press release which went out and the announcement released earlier in the week, they've decided to push back the launch of the podcast. And as always, she said she'll continue to use her personal platforms to be a voice for the unheard and raise awareness. I love when I go on to Huda's page of millions and millions of followers, which are around the world. And it's so clear where she stands. She's being a voice for the people of Gaza since October 7th and before. And she's speaking up for Lebanon right now. And she's always taken a stand. And we have to salute her for that. And when she pulls back on a launch, it's just reading the room. It's not the right time, and she's decided to pull back, and I think it's great.
I agree with you, and as well, because she is Arab, so she knew, she knows no one can know what's going on in the world as much as an Arab knows, because it's hard when your country is getting affected, even if you don't live in the country, even if you are born in a different country, but it's your home, it's your country, it's where you supposedly, as we say in our culture, it's where you end up at towards the end when you're done with work, life, kids, family, everything. That's where you go there every summer. That's where I used to go to Syria every summer. But when such things happen, it's very hard to disregard what's happening in your world, even if you're not from Lebanon. As an Arab, it's very hard to disregard what's happening. So disregarding it, and as well because she has this hotline that's that she wants to launch, she had to feel for the people. She had to empathize with the people, and I'm sure that she did not have to act it out. She actually does feel for them and actually empathize.
100%. But you know what's interesting is that it's a hotline for people to ask questions, and I have no doubt that people, it'll be a whole range of topics from relationships to helplessness in this type of situation. So when it does open up, she's going to be that empathetic big sister that you may or may not have. It's 8:48. So we're going to jump into our next guest. We're super excited to welcome Sasha Afsh on the show. We're going to talk about navigating third culture, relationships and life lessons. Do stay tuned. She'll be with us after this very short break. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today's guest is Sasha Afsh. In a world dominated by digital perfection, our guest is here to share her unfiltered reality and her journey growing up in Lebanon and the US. She faced the challenges of navigating two cultures, shaping who she is today. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for
having me.
We're excited to chat.
Well, thank you for being here. But my first question is, you are originally Lebanese, but you grew up in America. And you know what's happening around in Lebanon, and we feel for them. We talk about that all the time. But I just want to ask you, I hope everything is okay in Lebanon and everything's fine.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, it's I can't even just begin to describe the pain that I feel on a day-to-day basis, that we all feel. I had one of my relatives' house is completely wiped out, and they were displaced. So it's tough seeing some people like so close to you have to leave, and cousins fleeing the country. It's super sad. We're not able to go back at this point, and that's something that I never thought would happen to me. We never think that it would, but to some extent it does feel familiar because we're kind of used to it at this point. So yeah, it's just a day-by-day thing.
I'm so sorry that's happened to your family. It's so scary. We have similar conversations with people in our office going through the same thing, and while I can't empathize or put myself in your shoes, I'm just really sorry that that's happening to your people and your family. You have a very strong voice on social, and you have had for quite some time. And I just want to go back a little bit to what made you feel comfortable starting sharing on social and being open about your journey.
I always wanted to kind of talk to people. I wanted to help. I started off not having a strong enough voice. I was just singing, and that was my way of connecting with my audience. I would do, songs that would cover everything from like an eating disorder, self-image, to heartbreak, and kind of this self-love. And little by little, I started becoming comfortable with speaking. And it's led me to this point where, I went on AB Talks. I completely discussed my journey from A to Z. And ever since that came out, I feel way more confident to kind of try to make a difference in the society. Like you said, the digital age is super stressful, I think, to the younger generation. And so I feel it's kind of a duty of mine to step forward and talk more about it.
Well, you moved to the to the U.S. as a child, and you grew up in the U.S. as an Arab. So I am sure that must have been like difficult. If you can describe, how was it like living as an Arab in the United States?
Yeah, so at first it was super tough adjusting, and I'm going to talk more specifically about when I moved from Beirut to America in 2014, because that was the hardest move. I was turning 12, just entering puberty. It was when I was trying to really develop my self-image, my identity, and it was super hard at first because I wasn't accepted into the community that I was placed in. So I did everything in my power to kind of be someone that I wasn't. From my looks to the way I acted to the way I talked. I had like a little bit of an accent. I tried to change that completely. And as soon as I changed all those things about me, I did fit in. There was just a lot that I wasn't telling about myself, my religion, where I come from, I tried to avoid any adversity in terms of, in regards to where I was from. So I just avoided, and I tried to be someone I wasn't. But in doing that, I completely lost who I was. So to be honest, I wasn't really Arab when I was there because I tried so hard not to be. I wasn't until I moved back to the UAE where I realized that, I'm so proud to be Lebanese, and I'm so proud to be a Muslim, and I want to be more vocal about that. And then I was able, to go back to America and revisit and be true to who I was, but it took a lot of work to be able to do that, and a lot of bravery, I would say.
I'm sure it took bravery, because looking back, you mentioned that at the beginning you didn't fit in. So what did that look like? And if someone is going through the same thing now at 12, 13, you're like, would you have advice for them? Like, is there, because it's not easy not fitting in.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to stand out at that age. Like, do you think going back, is there something you would have done differently?
Yeah, I think the self-talk that I had, the self-limiting beliefs are kind of what made me be someone I wasn't. So if I could go back, or if I could give any advice to the people watching, it would be, if you're struggling with a new environment or you feel you're outcasted in a way, talk to yourself in a way that you would talk to someone that you love. Or imagine yourself as your daughter. How would you want your daughter to feel, going into school or a new environment? So instead of me saying like, I need to be skinnier, or I need to have blonder hair, I would tell myself like, no, this is me, I'm different, and that's a good thing. Whereas back then I would be, this is such a bad thing. So if you reframe your thoughts, it changes your entire reality.
I totally agree. I love self-talk and positive words. At the time, how were your parents supporting you during that journey? Is it conversations that you had?
I think it was also hard for my parents. We were all in a new area. My dad was adjusting to a new job. So it wasn't something that we talked about very frequently, but they did check in quite often, you know, like how's school going? And my mom would do everything in her power, like her love language is acts of service. So she would make sure we didn't have to overdo anything and just focus on our school, making friends, etc. So it was less about talking, more about doing with my family.
I have watched your recent interview with AB Talks, and you tackled a lot of important topics. Now, while we don't have like an hour to talk about it all, but you shared experiences from like eating disorders, abusive relationships. If you can tell us more about that, like things that you are okay with, of course, tell us about.
Well, because of our time limit, I won't go exactly into everything that I went through and battled with. I want to talk more about what you can do to help yourself if you are in those situations. So one of the main topics was how I struggled with a very bad relationship with food and how I would not want to eat on certain days, and it led me to, you know, fainting at school, trying to lose excessive weight so that I could feel better, you know, trying to please everyone. And the way that I got over it, and it wasn't until May of this year, so May 2024, I was at my lowest with the eating disorders. So I was eating and I was crying while I was eating. And I couldn't believe that I had gone that low, because I had watched it in movies and I had seen how bad some people could get, and where it didn't look like I was emaciated, it still, it felt really, my body was just crying for help. I was sleeping all the time. I was almost like throwing up. So when I realized I was so low, I started trying to be like a sponge of information of how I could help for myself. So whenever I would go on TikTok, instead of liking and commenting and sharing content that would kind of bring me lower and deeper, I would interact with content that was like more uplifting. And through that, I was able to learn, how to talk to yourself. What does positive self-love look like? And in doing that, I found a lot of information about how my body is a vessel and my body works for me, and I should be grateful for that. And so instead of lacking, it was always lacking in nutrition. So instead of trying to suppress, I would try to feed it, because that's what it needed to give me, you know, a better mindset, more energy. And so that's kind of what helped me, you know.
That's so interesting, because we talk about TikTok and how it can have damaging effects, but it feels like it was able to, rather than going down the TikTok negative hole, you went down the positive hole, and it pulled you from a really deep, dark place. Do you see, where do you think social media fits in your life now? Because it's so easy for all of us to go down these negative holes. So like, do you feel strong enough now that you're in a place where that can't happen, or how does social media fit into your life?
So I think that as people, we, our thoughts are like, they breed our reality. So if you are consuming, and at the end of the day, we're all consumers in every sense of the word, we consume, like I said, we're like sponges. We consume information wherever we look, whatever we do. So if you're going onto social media and you're interacting with things that are gonna pull you deeper into your depression or anxiety, the cycle's gonna continue. But if you choose to use social media to your benefit, and if you see information where it's like tips to eat better, to eat healthier, and you start liking that, you're gonna constantly get more videos like that. So you can actually help yourself. Social media is not all bad. It really depends on how you are using it.
It's amazing.
What would you say to someone who is struggling with mental challenges right now?
I would say surround yourself with people who are gonna challenge you. And if you're surrounded by losers, you're gonna end up being a loser. And you need to have people who are supporting you and putting you in the right mindset. You need to be around people who are not pessimists, who are not having this negative self-talk like we spoke about. And I think it's very, very important to make sure that everything you are speaking out into the world is positive. Because if you say something as simple as, I feel fat today, guess what? Your entire day, you're gonna believe subconsciously that you are fat, and that the cycle is just gonna continue. So if you can reframe your thoughts, I'm telling you, everything about your actions, your friends, your family, your relationships, everything will improve.
I totally agree with you. One of my personal biggest problems on social media is comparisons. I'm getting, I mentioned this yesterday, I'm getting married soon. And all I'm consuming on my feed is like these ridiculously like fancy weddings and like fancy engagements and fancy dresses, and it all looks amazing, but I put in that comparison of like, well, mine's not going to look like that. You have 15 million likes on TikTok, like you're clearly massive on social media. So do you have tips that you could share as to how I and we could stop comparing ourselves to others online?
So I learned something about jealousy. And I say jealousy because it's a lot like comparison. When you compare, you want something that someone else has. And something about jealousy is that you only feel jealous of someone who you feel you're in competition with. So if I look at you right now and I'm like, oh my God, like she's so beautiful, I just want to be more like her. I'm placing you at this like competition. The truth is we don't have competition with anyone because our job on earth is to try to be as authentic to ourselves as we can reach. So think of yourself as like a 3 or 4 year old. You didn't give about anything around you. You didn't care what anyone around you was doing. If you wanted to wear an orange dress, the most vibrant orange neon dress, you would do it. So try to go back to her. This is what I think of. Every day, I'm actually trying my hardest to go back to my 4-year-old self, to try to be more authentic to who she was. So you don't have to compare yourself. You should compare yourself to that little girl. She was free. Everyone around you, and when you look around, and if I'm going to compare myself to you and constantly feel that battle with you, first of all, that doesn't exist. That's in my own mind. And this is why I say it's so important to focus on your self-limiting beliefs and your thought pattern. Because I'm not in competition with you guys. I'm in competition with my little 4-year-old self that was so free.
Sweet.
Wow, I love that. I really do. I'm just going to start to think of my 4-year-old self. I really do love that. But like, do you think, I have a question. Do you think, you know how like TikTok and Instagram, sometimes let's put a filter on like, you know, on for creators. Do you think that still that works, and does it as well like maybe persevere authenticity in a way?
Do you mean filter in the physical sense of a filter, like a face filter?
Yes.
I think try your best never to use filters. I mean, there are times where I don't feel great and I want to film, and I'll go put a filter, and then before I post it, I'll be like, why did I do? What is the purpose? We are so afraid of being perceived. That is, in essence, everyone's problem on a day-to-day basis. We're afraid of the public eye. And a more important issue is the generation now. I think, you know, back then it was we were afraid to go out in public and do, but now it's like we're afraid to even make that first step because we're so afraid of what other people think. Now, if you are able to recognize that you're wearing a filter because you are maybe trying to hide who you really are, first of all, would the 4-year-old do that? No. You don't need to hide anything because at the end of the day, most people are afraid of people seeing them try, not even fail. People are afraid to make that first step. So it's like, as a collective, we should try to never use filters because we don't need it.
And then as well, you kind of like look at your filter self and you start comparing your self to your filter
filtered self. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you become more okay with who you really are, then you will realize that everything about you, from the, you know, maybe I talk a lot about like my nose because it was something that I didn't like before, and how I thought society now tells you that you need a little button nose. And when I realized that what my nose is what makes me actually most unique, I realized, I'm going to use that to my benefit. This is what makes me different. I don't want to be in a society where we all look the same.
That's true.
100%. We're certainly going down that path. So we are waving the flag for a filter-free world.
100%.
But also on your page, when people come there, either pages, what message do you want them to leave with?
I think I really want to kind of spread this message of authenticity. Because at the end of the day, you're only in competition with yourself to be the best version of yourself, the most free person, the free version of yourself. And so if someone is going to take advice from me, or what they would take away from my page, it is, how can you be truest to who you are? Because if you are truest to who you are the happiest version of yourself.
I mean, I really do love that. I mean, I'm just like writing notes all in my head. But of course, you know, all creators and everyone has a vision board. So what is on Sasha's vision board now?
This, like exactly what we're doing here, is something that I want to do every day. So instead of feeling jealous of maybe your job, I'm actually taking notes and I'm admiring the work that you guys have put in. And I think what I would love to do is to talk more and to you know, help young girls and boys who are facing a lot of challenges and the pressure of our very harsh society.
Love that.
Well, you're certainly already doing that through your own channels.
Thank you so much.
If people watching today want to get in touch with you, if they'd like to find you, where is the best place that they can do that? Do you answer your DMs?
Yes, I do. I actually responded to an email in like a full essay format because some girl was going through a lot. So yeah, DM, TikTok, DMs, emails, anything. Really, I'm here.
Thank you so much, Sasha, Afsh, for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. That brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, Farah.
Thank you, Casey.
And we'll be back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.